So we begin our work by start a new model wizard. We select, then choose, since we're working with 3D, we go ahead to choose, we select a 3D space. Then go to ACDC. We have electric fields and currents. We select electric currents. It's added. Okay, so we also need electrical circuits as well for our work. So we go ahead to add electrical circuits. Then we go to steady. We select our steady. We'll select time dependent. We'll choose done. Proceed. So this brings us to our Comsol interface. Go to parameters. I want to input R. The expression will be 1,000 ohms. I want to input, sorry, it should be square bracket. So we manually input our parameters. As you can see. Input our parameters manually in here. Go ahead to, after inputting our parameters, we go to our geometry. We select the unit to centimeters. Then we want to build a cylinder. So we add a cylinder. We choose the radius to be 20. Our height to be 20. Then go ahead to build selected. So as you can see, we build our geometry easily and quickly. So building the geometry is quite easy. Putting in the parameters is also easy. We go ahead to add another cylinder and same, we input our radius to 10, 4. And with this, we want to change the position of the Z. We want to change the position of the Z to 8. We want to also go to the layers, and we want to modify the layers, as you can see. So we input 5 millimeters layer. We want the layers to be rather on the bottom and on top. So as you can see, we have successfully built a geometry. It's quite easy, as you can see. So we go ahead to add another cylinder. And as we did for the initial one, we also do this, 0.75. The height should be 8. As you can see. Then we go ahead to build, and we've been able to build it. So that is, as you can see, the small cylinder that we built is below. So we want to duplicate this recent one that we just did. And we just change the position of the Z to 12. I want to change it to 12 and see, so we are changing the position of the recent one that we did to a different position. So we are building the same, but want it to be directly on top of the previous one that we built. So after you build, you realize one has been placed on top, similar one. Then we go to form union, then we build all. So it builds everything for us. So as you can see, we have our nice geometry in here. Go to view. We want to hide, right click, and you choose hide for geometry. And we select a boundary. Then we go ahead to paste selection, where we input, because we cannot select them, so we just input them in here, 4, 2, and 23, as I've done in here. Then we go ahead to click OK. Sorry. So I wouldn't input, I'll just hold on, we'll do some modification first. So there was an error. We'll go ahead to select it. Let's go ahead to select what we want to choose instead. Okay. 1, 23 and okay, so since they didn't allow us to paste, then we went ahead to actually select it manually. So you can also try, it's quite simple. You select this side, and this section. It's quite easy, not difficult. So you select these 4 sections, boundaries 1, 4, and 23. And we go to before we go to so as you click, you can see that it has hidden those sections. So we go to electric current, and you can see it has hidden those sections. And we add the terminal. I want to add a terminal quickly. This terminal, I'll be selecting section 4, 6, not 1. It's quite difficult to select them sometimes. Let's see about pasting. 4 and 6. Okay, that was this time around. It allowed us to paste. So we just selected 4 and 6. And the terminal type, we want it to be circuit. Want this terminal side to be circuit. We want to add a ground to our work. Also, I think we can paste the selection as for the ground. We select before we select. I want us to add an explicit to our work. So before that, let's add an explicit. We'll add an explicit to our work before we add the ground, because we'd actually need to define the explicits before the ground. So select 2 and 5 for our explicits. As you can see, you selected. I want to select the domains to be adjacent boundaries. We want to change the label of this explicit to a predefined name, a defined name, which we can. So we'll change it as first explicit. So we go to our ground, and in our ground, the selection, just choose first explicit, and it makes it easier for us. So like I defined over f explicit, came here to define it over here, which has quickly selected our ground. So the electric current 1, you can see 2, 4, 5. We want to delete some. We want to delete some out of this. So we want to delete the 2. We want to delete 5. We want it to be left with 1, 3, 4, and 6. We just want these to be left out for our work. Go to electrical circuits. So we move to go to the ground node as well to check. I will add a resistor. To add a resistor, I will define the N to be 0. So the node names for the N should be 0. So over here, resistance is 1000 ohms. We leave this way, and we go on to add a voltage source where so for the voltage source, the P node is 2. N node will change to 0. The voltage has to be changed. So the voltage in here is 1 volt. Okay. Then we can add go to external couplings to add external 1 versus U. Also, our P is 3, change to 2, change to 1. Electric potential, want it to be the terminal voltage. And terminal 1. Okay, so if you define this, then I think we can go ahead to add material from our library. Go to the built-in models where we add air. We want to change the sigma value electrical conductivity to 5e to the power 15. I want to add also another material, which should be quartz. So quartz as well will be 3. That will be the domain for 3. It's made of quartz. So after adding our materials, I think we can go ahead to mesh. Use physics controlled mesh to build. So we build all mesh.